lunchtime, and for some reason I just decided I wanted to try to use JMeter to do some stress testing on my application. Basically what JMeter is going to do is it's going to try to overwhelm the system. I can specify the number of threads, I can specify the ramp up period as well as the loop count. I just set it to infinite, and then I'll hit the run button and I'll hit stop whenever I'm finished. So the way that it works is you create a test plan. Well, a test plan is created for you, and you just name it. I named mine my first CRUD stress test, and then you can add to it. So you can add a thread group to it, thread group, and you can see here I've already added two: local stress test, remote stress test. And then on your thread group, you can add HTTP requests. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to click on config element, I believe. Sampler. HTTP request. And then on the HTTP request, I'm going to need to add a header. So then I'll add a config element of the HTTP header manager. Let's make this a create request, the same we have up here. So it's going to be a create person request. It's going to be imitating this create here. Not quite this one, but this one. This create here. So localhost colon 8080 / person hyphen controller / create. So that's our objective, to mimic that. And the server name is localhost. The port number is 8080. It is HTTP. The path is / person hyphen controller / create. It will have a body. The body will look like ID :0, because it doesn't matter, it's going to auto generate first name, random, last name, person. And we need to set in the HTTP header manager that the content type is set to application /JSON. And I believe the only other thing we need to do is we need to add results. So I believe that's in config elements, a listener, view results. Here we are. So now we can actually see what happens when we run this. So let me just make sure this is disabled, because I don't want to be running anything else. Those two things are disabled. I click here. That looks good. View results tree, hit run, and you can see method not allowed. Get request. Right, this is not a get request. This should be a post request. And now I'll hit run, and you can see that that one was successful. Now let's modify this so that it runs in an infinite loop with, let's say, 10 users hitting the system at once. We'll hit run, and you can see the system is getting hit hard. Now if we go to IntelliJ, we can actually view this traffic. I believe this is the traffic actually. Perhaps? Yeah, it's running. It's running, so this should be where our traffic is going. Let me stop for a second. Let me do that, clear that. Let us clear the results here and rerun the stress test. I don't see any results coming in. I know that it's working because if I come here and I say read by ID of, let's say, some random number like that big old number, you can see there's a person there, and I know that person existed because I can see over here that this thing has already created like 2 million people. It's got an ID of like 2 million, I think. Yeah, this is like the 2 millionth person-ish. So I know that we have tons of people in the database. I'm just not sure why I can't see that traffic taking place here. Let me stop the application just so that I can verify that when the application is stopped and when I run the performance test, I should be getting a bunch of connection refused. That's good. I expected that because the application is stopped. And let me just make sure that when I run this application, I can definitely see there's tons of traffic coming in, but perhaps this application isn't logging any of the traffic. I'll bet that's actually exactly what it is. So let me stop this because I was just using this application as a sample, but I think I have a better one. This project template, I think, might be a better application for us to run against. So let me run this one instead. Make sure this is on, okay, it's on 8080 by default. That's good. Okay, and let's see if we can run this now. Oh yeah, we can see tons of traffic coming in. I just ran it and stopped it very quickly because of how quick it went. But yeah, you can see that it's taking in tons of traffic. Boom, 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 boom. It's smacking the server. Server's getting smacked up. Blah, 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 blah. And that's cool because we can see all the responses here on this side. So what I thought to myself, oh, that's cool. Well, I know that this application is actually deployed on render.com. I'd be really interested to know if I could do a remote stress test. So I duplicated the thread group that you see here. This was the local stress test, and you can see we just duplicated that here. I duplicated it and modified it so that it was pointing to the server on render.com. And I just wanted to see what would happen, and I wanted to see what their traffic, how they manage this type of traffic. So I ran the application. It takes a little bit of time for it to spin up the threads. I think those threads are spun up now, but I think it's actually render.com that's taking time to respond. But let's just leave it running for a second, and I have faith that it should. Oh, of course, because you can see here this is disabled. Let me enable it, and then I'll run it, and then we'll view. Okay, there we go. Yep, it's coming in. You can see it takes a while for it to respond, and it is much slower when managing traffic compared to how our local host had already responded with 4 million users in about 30 seconds or so. This one's still taking a lot of time to manage just those requests that are being sent in. Lots and lots of time. I just thought that was interesting, and it only took me like 10 minutes to put it together and just test it all. All I did was do a Choco install JMeter to get this application up on my machine, and then you can see after that I created the thread group and did everything else that you saw here. I just thought, again, this was a really interesting thing to do, and it's an important skill to have to know how to do performance testing. I'm just thinking if there's anything else I wanted to mention. I'm going to delete this because there's no need for that, and I'm going to enable this, sure. And I think for this guy, the number of threads might as well just be 1 because it clearly can't handle very much traffic. Let me disable this and run this again because I'm actually curious to know. Yeah, we don't really see a difference. We really don't see a difference, so I'm not going to waste threads on my machine to try to overwhelm a system that clearly can't handle that traffic anyway. Might as well just keep it at one thread, maybe 2, but no need to spin up 50. But you can see on the local host that 50 threads is pretty impressive, and just so that we can revisit that one more time. Let's just see. Here we go. I mean, That's a lot of people. Let's just see what the traffic looks like. Yep, that's a lot of traffic. If you're interested in testing this out yourself, this is the Spring Micro Monolith project template from the Curriculion org. So that would be from github.com/Curriculion, and it's going to be the Spring Micro Monolith project template, updated 13 minutes ago. I'm about to update it one more time with the JMeter changes I just made. I hope that was cool. I hope that was informative.